Hello, Nick. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Doug.
I know before the game you talked about the ball moving side to side and shorter offensive lulls, but tonight the decision making just seemed to be crisp. The ball got to the right spot all the time. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say all the time, but
Well, yeah.
most of the time it did. And that was, that's what we're asking them to do. You think you're going to score, that in a game by shooting quick, and that's not necessarily the case. You gotta continue to run the actions and get it in the paint and then make the right decisions. We did.
I think that's like 5 games in a row you've been over 120. It takes a lot of pressure off your defense if you're filling it up that much, right?
Well, I think that the defense should be creating some of that 120, Doug, right? I think they do work, in union with each other. Again, the offense, if you're taking care of it and getting shots, gives your defense a great chance to get set up, and vice versa. When your defense is rebounding or poking balls away or things like that, it gets you your share. And probably my only complaint would be our transition offense looked a little shaky at times. I thought we had a lot of advantage number breaks, and we probably left some points on the board there or off the board there.
Great. Thanks very much, Nick. Appreciate it as always. Have a safe trip up to Boston.
Thanks, Doug. Josh Lewinberg, why don't you go ahead and ask our next question?
Thank you, Phil. I mean, Nick. Hi, Nick. Obviously, Norm had some big stretches, some consistent stretches last season, but he seems to be on a roll right now. Have you seen him sort of playing with the kind of energy and the kind of consistent impact that he's playing with right now?
Yeah, I guess I just like his decision making right now the most, Josh. He turns the corner, he explodes to the rim. He looks really confident when it gets thrown out to him. It's like one of those deals where when he rises up, you're really expecting it to go in. And I think it's just helping his overall play too. I think I notice him making good rotations on D, blocking out a little better, all those things. But he's certainly playing at a high level right now.
A lot of talk after the game the other day about all the technicals, and there seemed to be fewer conversations from everybody with the officials today. Was that something that was discussed? Was that a focus going into the game tonight?
Well, I think that we need it to be, Josh, right? And that starts with me. So I think that there's only so much energy to go around, and you got to try to direct it in a positive way. And they got a tough job, especially this year. You can talk about how tough it is on everybody this year. I can't imagine how tough it is on them, and we got to do a better job of working in unison with them.
One more quick one for me. You had mentioned that there was a chance that we could see OG before the end of the trip. What are the chances that he's able to go tomorrow?
Well, I'm not sure, Josh. He did worked pretty hard yesterday, moved pretty well. I think he was held out today because it was a little sore again today. So I don't know, 50-50.
Thanks, Nick. Safe travel.
Thanks,
Josh. We'll go to Michael Grange.
Hey, Nick. I touched on this with you before the game, but you're 4-1 on this trip. You have this stretch of 9 of 10 on the road. And I mean, are you pleased with the way you guys have been able to perform, or does every game feel like a road game? Do you feel like you're going into, enemy territory, or like home's not that cozy?
Yeah,
I guess
there doesn't seem to be much of a difference, Michael. So you can either say they probably just all feel like a game. It really doesn't seem to be much of a difference, home or away. So I guess that's kind of my only thought on it, is it's just a game. You got to go play it no matter where it is or when it is or who it is.
And you've seen Pascal now hit a nice little run here. I think he's at 30 in 4 or 6 games, but you always talk about how you're, what you do in your games that aren't so great. Not that tonight wasn't a great one, but he seems a little more consistent the last bunch of games.
Yeah. Again, just similar with Norm. I just like his decision making better. I think there's the plays I like, Michael, are kind of his catch and shoots or his comes back to him and he drives it on the catch. And, the ones where he's handling a lot of multiple dribbles out top and the defense just kind of keeps getting tighter and tighter. He can make some of those, but I much prefer that, some actions have happened. It comes around to him and he vaults up and shoots it. And I think that's what he's doing better. And that's rhythm, right? He's taking more rhythm shots and he's getting in a rhythm, I think, for himself. So that's good to see.
Appreciate it. Have a good
Yep.
trip. Good trip.
Thanks, Michael.
Next question will go to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Nick. How much of these 120-point games is your offense being incredible, and how much is just this league seems to have a lot of high scoring? Is this just the modern NBA sort of?
Well, I think that, again, we've talked about it. The offense is growing, right? I think everybody can see that. We're not going through too many lulls, or too many poor possessions. We had a little stretch tonight. I think we turned it over 3 out of 5 times and quickly took a timeout, and they got back to, what we wanted to do. I think that we have been seeing in the last couple seasons, it feels like, I don't have the exact numbers, but it feels like early season, the scores are high and they start settling in a little bit later on. And then they obviously kind of go back down, once the postseason starts. So I think it's a little bit effect of that. And a lot of teams are playing really fast too, Aaron. With 2 teams out there that are pushing the ball constantly, there's a lot more possessions.
Do you have a theory for that early season? Maybe defense takes longer. Maybe there's a shorter training camp or preseason. Do you have an idea why that might be earlier in the season?
I don't really. I mean, again, I think it's been pretty common for the last couple of years. We seem to have this discussion maybe a little earlier than this even. What are we, 25 games in? Maybe even a little earlier these last few years we've been talking about it. I guess I just think that, a lot of teams come into training camp and say, we're really going to run this year. And then, then they kind of settle in, start adding some more sets, and defenses start getting back a little better. And then it just kind of settles in. But maybe we're in a new era. We'll see how long it lasts.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. Last question will go to Ben from The Athletic in Washington.
Hey, Nick, sort of a big picture question. You've been with this franchise for a while. When you played Washington in the playoffs a couple of times, and the franchise has sort of gone in different directions over the last few years. I know the record this year may not be exactly where you want it, but obviously you guys have had some great heights in the last few years. I'm just curious, what do you see knowing those teams then that allowed you guys to thrive? What culture, some sort of a mindset? What is it that you guys went one way and perhaps maybe they went a different way?
Well, first thing, Ben, I got enough to worry about with my own team to worry too much about what they're doing. But for us, I think, yeah, we've made a strong commitment. I think culture is the word, that everybody uses. We work really hard in the off season with player development. We use our minor league system the most effectively as we can. We try to set some standards for how we want to play, and play hard and guard and kind of like your first test with us is you better want to come out and play some defense, and you better understand the coverages and how we do it if you want to hit the floor, so it usually takes our new guys a little while to understand and get to that and learn the schemes. And, again, we've got another stretch of 6 or 7 new guys this year that are still learning, but they're growing.
To that point of that mindset, what is the key when you do have new people come in that understand when you come into our system, this is what is expected of you. This is what we do, because obviously that's not something that's every place can do. Well,
I mean, we try to show them, right off the bat, Ben, we try to show them kind of, our just film of the way we like to play, that we like to pressure the ball, that, when you're not pressuring the ball, this is where you are. And, we got some, pretty tight accountability standards, and just like 3 or 4 areas that we really stress with them. And then we just got to drill them, And then that doesn't even do enough. They got to get some minutes out there to go through it and then fix the mistakes and encourage the good plays and just kind of keep teaching and growing from there.